States' defense against foreign and domestic enemies for decades. However, it has attracted plenty of criticism for its methods and motives over the years. Declassified documents have only fueled this criticism, revealing all manner of unethical or illegal conduct hidden in the CIA's closet. Many of the declassified secrets are more absurd than creepy. Wacky plots and absurd technology like bird spy drones, catfish spy drones, dragonfly spy drones, a lot of animal spy drones, come to think of it, are among the stranger revelations from declassified archives. However, some of these documents reveal far more gruesome secrets. Plans for political assassinations, mind control, torture, and even inciting international wars reveal that the CIA has gotten up to far more than the public ever suspected. Today, we look at some of the darkest secrets of the CIA that were exposed thanks to declassified documents. If you enjoy videos like this, don't forget to like and subscribe to support us and keep updated on future content. The CIA has a long-standing reputation for being involved in assassination and targeted killings of its enemies. Often, the political consequences of these killings are controversial enough, but they also show the creativity with which the CIA searched for gruesome ways to kill people. In 2007, a collection of documents nicknamed the Family Jewels were declassified. Originally compiled in the 1970s, these documents detailed the CIA's involvement in numerous assassination plots throughout the Cold War. Although some details had trickled out in previous decades, the 2007 declassification finally gave a full picture. The former dictator of Cuba, Fidel Castro, might have been the single most targeted person by the CIA. These documents revealed how, over the years, the CIA came up with countless plots to kill him in ever more elaborate ways. One plan was to lace a box of Castro's favorite brand of cigars with a powerful toxin. This plan was implemented, but although the cigars were delivered to an agent, it's not known what happened to them. Here's hoping no one else tried to smoke them. In another plot, the CIA reached out to the boss of the Chicago mob, Sam Giancana, who had operations in Cuba. Giancana worked with the CIA and suggested introducing poison pills to Castro's food, but after several unsuccessful attempts, the plan was abandoned. Other bizarre plans to kill him with a hypodermic needle hidden in a pen were scuttled due to JFK's assassination in 1963, and another plan to hide a bomb in a seashell was dismissed as impractical. Another target of CIA assassins was the first Prime Minister of the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Patrice Lumumba. Lumumba was suspected of having pro-communist views, suspicions which were intensified when he sought Soviet aid to deal with rebels in 1960. Documents show that the CIA suggested several plans to kill Lumumba, including poisoning his toothbrush, although none of these plans were known to be implemented. Later allegations from former CIA operatives claim that the CIA was involved in his eventual deposition and execution by rival Congolese groups, but concrete evidence for these claims are yet to be found. Perhaps the most bizarre yet gruesome assassination method suggested by the CIA was an artificial lightning weapon. This odd weapon was hypothesized in a document dating from the 1960s from an anonymous meteorologist. The plan was to use long, thin wires suspended from a plane or a rocket that would fly into storms and conduct the electrical charge via the wires towards targets of interest. This could be an individual, equipment, or infrastructure. The documents mention the ability of lightning to burn holes in fuel tanks and damage the propellers of aircraft, but it also indicates that such a weapon would allow the CIA to assassinate targets without leaving any evidence of their involvement. The ludicrous plan was never implemented, at least to our knowledge, but it shows the lengths the CIA went to in order to find new ways to kill people. MKUltra is one of the most infamous and terrifying CIA projects that only came to light years after events had taken place. In 1974, New York Times journalist Seymour Hersh published claims that the CIA had been running non-consensual drug experiments on American citizens. This prompted President Gerald Ford to launch a commission to investigate these claims. The Rockefeller Commission, named for its head Vice President Nelson Rockefeller, and later a Senate committee now known as the Church Committee, uncovered piles of dirty laundry buried by the CIA. But worst of all was MKUltra. MKUltra was the code name for CIA research into mind control techniques that took place throughout the 1950s and 1960s. After the Second World War, the CIA became convinced that the Soviets had developed a method of mind control. With the Cold War well underway, the CIA insisted that they had to develop their own mind control program to match the alleged Soviet version. To this end, the CIA tapped the chemist Sidney Gottlieb to lead a project to develop mind control methods. Gottlieb was given immense resources and minimal oversight in his quest to develop these techniques. One of the most abominable resources that Gottlieb had access to were former Nazi and Japanese scientists, as part of the United States' wider Operation Paperclip, which aimed to grab former Axis scientists to aid America in the Cold War arms race. Nazis who had participated in the concentration camps, especially Dachau, where mind control experiments had been attempted on Holocaust victims, became part of the project. MKUltra's goals and staff were grim enough, but their methods were the most gruesome part. Gottlieb broke the mind control process into two parts. The first was to break the subject's existing mental state, and the second was to implement a new mental state to serve the project's ends. MKUltra never made much progress on the second, but they found all sorts of cruel ways to implement the first. Drugs, physical violence, and electroshock torture all played a part as Gottlieb and his team attempted to break and remake the human mind. LSD, methamphetamine, heroin, and MDMA were particular substances of interest to MKUltra. The project began secretly undertaking experiments at universities, prisons, hospitals, and other institutions across the United States and the world. Subjects were given these drugs, often against their consent or full knowledge, to measure the effects. These experiments were deeply unethical, and subjects could be left physically or mentally damaged by the experience. Gottlieb experimented on American prisoners or even captured Soviet agents. They also trapped members of the public, such as through Operation Midnight Climax, where the CIA used prostitutes to lure men so that they could be forcibly drugged to measure the effects of the substances. Many of those subjected to these experiments would suffer life-changing consequences. James Whitey Bulger, an infamous Boston mob boss, revealed that he had been subject to LSD experiments against his consent from the CIA during the Cold War. Bulger described how he knew he was being experimented upon but could not do anything to stop it. Bulger would go on to a life of crime in Boston's mob, for which he would eventually be arrested, charged, and imprisoned. However, upon learning of the MK